Hello, everyone. Welcome to Orange and Brew, the podcast where we married our two favorite pastimes, the Denver Broncos and beer. I am one of your hosts, JT Matthews. To my top left, I think everyone's top left, is the doctor, Nicholas Manning, at dr_Manning on Twitter. And, of course, super producer and co-host John Cronenberg at Jon Kay NFL on Twitter. Boys, we're still NBA champions. There's that. There hasn't been a lot of news, though, lately, and so we just got to enjoy this little period that we're in. And I just wanted to remind everyone that we're still NBA champions.
That's true.
Can't take that away from us.
We have a full year plus to say that, so that will be nice to say.
Yeah, and I'm guessing we'll probably still be NBA champions this time next year. That's my prediction.
Ooh, that's one out there.
Big facts, right?
I mean, we are until we aren't. We are until we aren't.
That's right.
What's going on, Avatar?
Avatar, what's up, guys?
Yeah,
thanks everyone for joining us today.
Well, get station.
That's right. And we got NBA draft tonight, so there is some stuff going on.
Yeah, and it sounds like the Nuggets made some moves. Do you know what happened? Can you tell me a little bit about it? Because I haven't been keeping up as much.
Yeah. A while back they traded like a 2029 draft pick to Oklahoma City to get some draft picks this year, and then they traded some of those draft picks to get a first round draft pick today towards the end of the first round. So they'll have at least one first round draft pick, which is good.
What's going on, Crush?
How are we doing? How are we feeling today? Doc, how are you feeling today?
Oh man, I'm doing good. It's this week has flown by.
Yes,
as they tend to. The weather, I don't know what's happening outside anymore.
I don't think anyone knows.
I feel bad for the Red Rocks patrons.
My nephew was there.
Just getting beat up.
Yeah, he said he got some welts.
Yeah, I mean they were the videos were pretty bad. So I'm hoping things lighten up. We got 5-year-old flag football this weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Assistant coach JT here and 3-year-old soccer. So
hey, we got some other news though with the Nuggets that I want to get your opinions on from Avatar. Bruce Brown declined his option, so he is a free agent. Let's get your guys' thoughts real quick.
I'm sad, though it was predictable.
Was it predictable?
The guy was a sixth man on a championship team. He had been productive all year. He was going to get paid by someone. He still might come back. I'm not holding out a ton of hope, but there's a chance we see him back, which I think Nuggets fans would love. But you lose some playmaking, some ball handling, especially. He was kind of your backup point guard, so they'll have to look to replace that somehow. And maybe we see what they do tonight. Maybe that's part of the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't keep them all. Right, and good for Bruce for getting to a position to capitalize. Never going to tell anyone to not take that money. The Nuggets have the 29th and 32nd selections in the draft, so I think you can get some players. I would say too, the Washington Wizards are apparently fire sale, and
no kidding.
There is a former Nugget backup point guard in Washington that who knows maybe could be available.
Probably for fairly cheap too.
I would have no doubt.
So we'll see. I'm interested to see the moves they make. But we're here to talk Broncos. So let's jump into it. And we're starting by not exactly talking about the Broncos, but it is Broncos adjacent. Recent rumors have come out. Stefon Diggs is unhappy with his lot in life in Buffalo. And there have been a few. What did you like that?
His lot in life? No, that was just good.
His lot in life, Yep. I mean, and I'm not sure what he has to be that upset about. Besides, he lives in Buffalo.
I mean,
but it sounds like that he could be on the move potentially. It sounds like the Broncos.
Wait, real quick. You're telling me he can't pay for Grubhub or DoorDash and stuff like that in the bad Buffalo weather? He can still do that. I mean, he doesn't have to go out. I mean, he can be nice and cozy in his home.
I would, I'd be okay. I think a lot of people would be okay with the amount of money being made, but
I mean, I would.
Besides the point, keep going on.
You have to
think of the DoorDash. I had to think of that.
It's fair. It's fair. You have to love your job, though. We all know this. If you're not happy in your job, it impacts the other parts of your life. So I will give him benefit of the doubt. Potential links to the Broncos. Are you on board? What would it cost? Would you be okay with paying a steep price for a productive receiver like Diggs, Doc?
Yeah. At first I was like, no, like, we malcontents and all that. Like, I don't.
Sure.
And then you look at just how good he is. I broke this down a while ago in what made Josh Allen's jump so significant. A ton of that was Stefon Diggs, his ability to be able to turn an easy 6-yard completion into a first down over and over and over again. Ben Albright had suggested, more speculative than anything, maybe it would take a second and a third, and Cortland Sutton. I would take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I think, Cortland Sutton, having him get a fresh start, I think might be good for Court. It's a good situation too. But, Sean Payton doesn't love draft picks necessarily. He likes good players. So that would make sense to me. And then, Stefon Diggs is kind of QB proof, right? I mean, he's going to have 100+ catches and 1,200 yards every year. And I think that could be something that would really make this offense dynamic. You have a guy that can really run an extensive route tree, and then an up-and-comer that can, continue to develop in Jerry Jeudy. So, again, I'm a proponent for bringing as many good players as you can and, let things fall as they may. So I would be into it. I don't think that the Broncos – I don't think it is likely. But I'd be in.
Yeah, John, how do you feel about it overall?
I mean, again, the first thing being that it's obviously unlikely with the cap hit. I think it brings upon the Bills in terms of, I think, negative $40 million. They can't handle it. So, it's an interesting hypothetical, though, to think about in terms of, hey, Diggs is kind of that outside receiver, even though people think he's kind of more of a slot guy at times. Just, people do just because kind of that body type. I'm not quite sure why. But him and Jeudy running together would be fabulous. Honestly, to think about how dangerous that would be on the field if you were to compare that to Sutton, honestly. But don't get me wrong, I still love what Sutton can bring, and I agree though that those picks would be very easy to give up for Diggs. Honestly, I think that makes your offense just that much more dynamic going forward, and that's what you really need for Russell Wilson to take advantage of him, make him be able to be active on those play action plays, and be able to again have that Tyler Lockett kind of guy who has just always been there for him and he knows how to use.
Yeah, I am of the mind if you're not giving up a first rounder, I'm more inclined. We have not had a first round draft pick in long enough that I'm not wanting to do this again. I want draft season to be more exciting than it has been for us. That's a selfish thing, first of all. I don't know what it would mean for Jerry Jeudy either, because he's coming up on towards the end of his contract with Denver. You would owe a pretty astronomical amount to Diggs. I think it's I pulled it up. This year he's making about 24 mil, then 19, then 18, then 19, then 18 for the next 4 years. It's a lot of money to give to a wide receiver. I don't know. I have a hard time. I would probably do it. I'm not a giant Jerry Jeudy guy, but I think you'd have to be prepared to say goodbye to Jerry and let him go. And I don't know that that's something that they want to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think getting rid of Jeudy, and I think that also causes you to get rid of, probably Sutton as well. Down the line, it's hard to keep that kind of talent at those prices. And I think Judy's going to have a solid breakout year, honestly. Breakout kind of being a loose term, just because I think he's going to be healthy enough to actually see those games and get enough reps to get that. For me, I would rather see Jeudy still develop and kind of have to pay him. And if we have to pay him $24 million, that means something really went well. So I'm very excited, about that. Let's get to Crush's question though, real quick. Would Diggs' personality be an issue in Sean's team? We've seen the sideline video of him going at Allen and now saying he's unhappy. What is your thought on this, real quick, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, Sean Payton he's that dude. So would that kind of attitude? Sure. But I mean, Sean Payton hasn't shied away from anyone. I think his confidence in being able to wrangle that locker room is probably pretty high. It depends, I think, on my thought would be if they got Stefon Diggs, that would be with the idea that, Jerry Jeudy probably isn't going to pan out or may not pan out. And you get a bona fide number one, and all of his number ones have eaten, whether that was Brandon Cooks, whether that was Michael Thomas, whether that was Marquez Colston. So I think Stefon Diggs would get his fair share. That's for sure. So I don't know that he would be unhappy in the offense. I don't know, Stefon Diggs has like a 3-year shelf life everywhere. So could you hang with him for 3 years and then be able to move on? Probably. I think you probably could. And I think your team would be better on the field. In the locker room, that part I don't know. So for that, I think you got to be a little worried about it. If they like their room now, I doubt that they do that move, but it definitely would be, on paper, it would be a real good paper move.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that thing is, it's so hard to kind of project that forward, I would be inclined just for the upside of the talent, but I could see why people would be opposed to that. And I think there is an option at some point in that contract. So maybe you're able to escape, but I think you still take a lot of dead cap. You'd have to go into it knowing like, hey, this could backfire. And if it does, we have to have some sort of plan in place. So I would take the risk. I don't ultimately see it happening, but it's fun to speculate about at the very least. There have been whisperings and rumors that the Broncos could be interested. And another report out that the Bills are trying to potentially privately deal Diggs. So he may be going somewhere, and it may be sooner than later. So
yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I think when it blows up to that degree, you have an all-world quarterback, I think at some point you got to. I mean, it's Tyreek Hill, right? Like, you got to rely on the guy that makes $50 million versus the guy that makes $25 million. He made Gabe Davis look like a Pro Bowl receiver. So you think he could do the same if they got another B-level receiver in there? I think that the Bills need him less than he needs a good quarterback per se. But I wouldn't be shocked.
I wonder how often you get guys. I mean, and it happens, but a lot of times when you're two of your best players, two of your superstars, butt heads, a side is picked. The only time I can think of that didn't exactly happen was Shaq and Kobe for a while. But outside of that, a lot of times when it becomes public, people move. Things get moved.
Yeah, because if you think about it, how long has it been bad before it became public, right? And so it's like you find out after a while. This isn't his first run, right? So he had issues in Minnesota. That's why he's not there. I mean, I wouldn't want to play with Kirk Cousins either, but whatever. So I just, there's smoke, there's fire, and the Bills at least have an opportunity, ideally, to be able to say, hey, if it's not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, we can hold on to him. They don't have to get rid of him. If Stefon Diggs wants to make his money, he's going to play football. So I think that they have some leverage there. But again, not every team will take his cap, and not every team will have a receiver to be able to send back. And the Broncos might be willing to do both of those or either of those.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to add, it's fine if these guys get some heat in the moment. Like again, Reisner last year when he, had his little moment where he shoved, I forget who it was, honestly, at this point, Rippin, if I remember, actually. Yeah. Stuff like that happens on the sideline all the time. The problem, what I heard is that it continued into the locker room, and it would, festered on beyond that. And that's where I'm more concerned. I don't worry about in that moment kind of stuff. We've all kind of been there where I don't care what you were doing in life. Maybe it was work, something like that. But in football, you guys have pads on and you're kind of rough. So you do a push there. And I agree with, what Graham is saying here. Make the call. You might as well see what's going on there. Have Peyton, look at this. He has been open to trades in the past, and we've seen it with Jacob Martin. A lot of different trades he's made. It's not just been Russell Wilson. So I think that's why he is making that call. And again, I just, like he says, I doubt that that's something that will come to fruition.
Yeah, fun to speculate about. Let's talk about an article that came out. Ooh. Or maybe was it an article or was it just a graph? I just saw the graphic on Twitter.
Yeah, there's a graphic. There's a article for previewing the top 10.
The top 10.
I'll let you go just with that graphic anyway. There's one of PFF's writers suggests that the Broncos, and I'll let you go.
The Broncos have a top 5 offensive line. I believe they had it listed at 5, which still counts as top 5.
It sounds cooler when you say top 5.
When you say top 5, though, it is a little more exciting. I want to know your takes on this. I have my own perspective, but I want to know what you guys think. John, I'll start with you.
I mean, the first thing for me is, on paper, you can write, look at this team and say they look pretty solid, in certain areas. But again, don't get me wrong. I think, getting Ben over here, Ben Brown, it was a good move. It was something that the Ravens lost. Ben Powers, excuse me.
No, you're
excuse
fine.
Me. Ben Powers. Ben Powers. And when I'm thinking about the Titans guy who was drafted. Anyways, Ben Powers, when the Ravens knew they couldn't afford him essentially. That was one of the big things when he said, why he came to Denver is like he didn't even have a discussion with the Ravens because they knew they couldn't afford him. So just really need to see these guys come together as a unit though. We've seen it in the past where yes, a lot of these guys look great on paper, but as a unit, it just doesn't come together. It is about being able to trust the person to your left, to your right, wherever they may be, and knowing where they'll be, how they're going to interact with you, and that takes time and honestly, and it takes a lot of good coaching. You got to be able to connect, and I think we are more hopeful for what we saw happen last year, but we have seen what can happen if you have a coaching mistake in Barry, where the guys just don't feel comfortable working together, and it's really not on them. They just weren't able to connect. So I think we're going to hopefully see this line become a unit, and then that covers the weaknesses up. So let's say we've all been a little bit concerned about Cushenberry. Let's that can kind of be washed away by just having good, solid coaching and working as a unit.
Yeah, no, I like that. Doc, would you agree?
Yeah. Just kidding.
That's all I get. Come on.
I really like this group. I don't know that it's top 5. I think Bowles now his kind of recent injury history is a concern for me, as well as Ben Powers has been nicked up a little bit in his career. Lloyd Cushenberry has been inconsistent, to say the least. And Mike McGlinchey has been a much better run blocker than pass blocker. However, collectively, I do think it's a really good line. I would go to say, and this was kind of a question that I posed earlier, is I think that this is the Broncos on paper, of course, because we'll see when they play the game. But I'm pretty confident because it's not like any of these guys are draft picks.
Right.
All are NFL veterans, so you've seen, they put on tape, they've been graded, all that good stuff. I think this is the best line to start the season that Denver has had probably since 2013, 2014. Whoa. Whoa. So which is pretty crazy to say, like the last decade, potentially, that this is the best offensive line that Denver has had from left to right. It's not absent of warts, but it is
sure.
It is really good. I looked at another article on PFF that I thought was, was pretty interesting. It has the Broncos ranked 11th. And that's considering everything. And I think that if the Broncos are able to be anywhere near, the top half of the league, I think that'll be great. And I would expect that Sean Payton demands that. His offensive lines forever have been above kind of the top 10 area. That's where he invests. The run game will be really important. There'll be a lot of coaching and teaching. I think that there will be continuity in the messages that go. I think he understands how to call games that will minimize or reduce the impact of some of his players' weaknesses. So I'm really bullish on it. I think that this will be a good front. I don't think it'll be perfect by any stretch of the imagination. That said, I do think it is really nice that you have the right tackle sewn up. That has been a turnstile for a decade, essentially. Lloyd Cushenberry, at least there's some familiarity with him, his quarterback, and his right guard. I really like what Ben Powers brings, his ability to pull. I think will be really beneficial. And Quinn Miners is ascending. And you know what? I looked back at some of the games that Garrett had last season before he got hurt. He actually played pretty darn well, actually. Looking at some of the PFF grades, a 70s, above the 70s in both passing, pass blocking, and run blocking. So, and he's been a career guy that's been above a 70 overall grade. So last year he was at 77.8 pass blocking, 76.9 run blocking. One sack allowed. He has a propensity to hold. But a ton of that is you don't know where your quarterback's going when he's running around all over the place. And we had talked about some of those, the gift and the curse of mobile quarterbacks. So I'm excited about it. I think that this will be a team with attitude, and I think that starts up front.
Yeah. My thought is it is early to kind of make that prediction, I feel. I do like the pieces. I like the pieces we have. I like the guys we have. I like the acquisitions we made, especially. Gotta wait and see on Bulls. I think that's just true. But I do feel that they could be a top 5 rushing attack. Okay. And I think as far as offensive lines go, I think they'll have a dominant running game. I'm not as optimistic about the pass protection, but like you said, John, if they gel, if they can work together as a unit, I think that's probably the most important part and the most crucial piece. I will say to make that prediction about a team that has no Pro Bowlers on that line is interesting. I think I think it bodes well. I think that means that there's potential, that people see potential in these players. I think maybe that means we've got a Pro Bowler in our near future on this offensive line, and that's something that we've been sorely lacking.
Yeah, I think, and for context, for them to be a top 5 running team, so they're going to have to be in the mix with these teams. So the Eagles, who have a tremendous offensive line, the Cleveland Browns, who have a good offensive line and a tremendous running back, the Baltimore Ravens, who have Lamar Jackson on top of a commitment to the running game. So those are just 3 of the teams, and those are 3 of the 4 top-ranked offensive lines per kind of PFF's projections. And then you go to Atlanta, who was a really good run team last year, and their investment in the running back. And I think that would be a big ask, in my opinion. And I do think it's doable, which is interesting. So we shall see. And I think I've talked about it before that I think that there still might be a move to be made, especially at the center position. The longer guys go and sign, the cheaper that price tag gets, and you get a couple pretty good veteran starters that are out there that I think could really help this team. So, if that were the case too, I think you got to be real excited about what the Broncos have up front.
Realistically, I mean, I think that they would have to get more rushing yards out of Russ. I mean, you're talking about those top 3-4 teams. Jalen Hurts obviously can move the ball. Lamar Jackson can obviously move the ball. That's probably a big contributing factor to why those were the top rushing teams. There's been talk about Russ being more mobile, having to create more with his legs. I think that's going to be key. And I think if you get the right line in front of him, that's going to be, those opportunities are going to open up. Do I think he's going to be as productive in the running game as those guys? Absolutely not. I don't think so. But if you can get a good contribution from him on top of the stable of backs that we have, then I think that adds up. Cleveland isn't a huge, Deshaun Watson can move a little bit, can create with his legs a little bit, but Nick Chubb was the guy there, and they had a good stable of guys. A combination of some production moving the ball from the quarterback and from all of your guys. I think it's doable. Like you said, Doc, I think it is doable. I think it's something that they could accomplish. It's just a matter of things coming together the right way. And we'll see what Russ puts on the field this year.
Yep.
I'm thirsty. Are you thirsty?
Remember.
I think it's time.
Oh, it's time.
Bring the tank.
It'll never get old.
Well, guys, it's beer time. And I'm so happy that it's beer time. I actually haven't had beer time since last beer time when we did this show. So I'm excited to crack open a brew. And John is going to join us. John, why don't we start?
I'm going to join you today.
Let's start with you.
I got one from Raul, or excuse me. I got one from one of our friends who sent this to me, and it is called Patron Saint. It's from Patron Saint of Brews. It's called Saint Arnold, and this is the rich and robust Tarnation, unreasonably strong ale, and it's a 9% alcohol ABV. So I am expecting this to really knock me out, honestly. Haven't had one in a while. It's from Houston, Texas, and it really I think this is going to be strong. So I'm very excited to try this, and I do like the bottle. Honestly, it's a good one.
Yeah. I do like that. What's the brewery?
So the brewery is St. Arnold.
Okay. Where is it? Does it say where?
Houston, Texas.
Ah, cool. I haven't had many Texas beers, so
that's probably why it's a little bit stronger. I mean, this is probably actually weak for them. They're used to things that are just a lot stronger, and it's just one of those things. And we got Richie joining us as well. He'll be drinking with us as well. So
nice.
Muskogee. I don't know where that is, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, it does.
Muskogee. It sounds like Canadian or something. Or
cheers
Minnesota.
To you, Crush.
Cheers. Doc, what are we drinking?
So we got the Juice Drop Hazy IPA, the pineapple orange from Brick. So it is on the lighter side. It's got 44 IBU, 7.2 ABV. A little bit of hops in there, and a little bit light. So I think it's probably going to line up great for summertime, which apparently we're supposed to be in. The hail and crap wouldn't tell you that it's there, but that's what we
mean. If it's not summer, you got to create your own summer, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It says lush, tropical, and intensely juicy.
Intense.
Some intense juice.
Yeah.
This is how we grade our things. If they say intense, I'm expecting.
I mean, it better be. Yeah.
And if it's not, then we gotta be honest.
No, I better see juice. You don't know that.
All right, you ready to pop them open, guys?
I am.
All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. I missed it. That's a lot of noise. Sorry to all of you that don't like noises like that. This has become an ASMR podcast.
Yes, it has.
A quick second. Oh, how's it smell, John? Is it you look like
it smells
you got a whiff of something strong? Yeah,
it smells strong. I'm telling you.
Hey, no shame in that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, congratulations on 8 years.
That's amazing. Congrats. Yes. That's fantastic. All right, boys. Cheers.
Cheers. Ready? Down the hatch.
Oh,
whoa.
We got some different. My woe is different than your woe for sure, but I'm interested to see. the comparison points.
Oh, man.
I will say it was intense.
I would say mine is intense too. Actually, I will agree with that.
Is
Just
it-
different beer. I mean, I know, but
I don't know if it was intensely juicy, but it was intense.
what was yours intense with? Because you both are making the face.
Nick looks a little concerned.
This is good stuff. This is good stuff.
It's a hoppier than I thought it was going to be. First of all, I guess I should have known. It's a hazy IPA, so it's an IPA at the end of the day. But when I was thinking like juicy, pineapple, orange, I was like, okay, it's going to be mostly fruity. No. It's hoppy as all get out. Like right in the front of your mouth. I am getting a little bit of like that not favorite orange kind of flavor on the back end, where it almost is like when you brush your teeth and drink orange juice, a little bitter. So orange is always a weird thing with bitter because I always feel like it ends up kind of tasting that way. I'll withhold. I'll let Doc say his piece first.
I mean, it wasn't overly juicy.
No.
It wasn't juicy. So, I mean, it was like all right as an IPA, I guess. It's like fine, but I don't know. Just I'm underwhelmed by the lack of juicy.
It's fair. Richie Rich at Fruit and Beer, no thank you. Yeah, I got to be in a mood for sure. I got to be in a mood.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like it. If I'm expecting like a summer beer, if I know I'm like grabbing like a Leinenkugel's summer shandy or something, I know what to expect. I can get down with it, but it wouldn't be my first choice generally, to be honest. So
yeah,
I'm gonna give mine a small L.
Okay,
a small loss. It just. It was kind of a weird marriage of fruit and IPA, and just not my favorite. And I'm a big pineapple guy. I'm a big orange guy. Just not so much in this context.
To be honest, I have to go with my beer real quickly. I think that the name is right on with Tarnation, because it really is like what incarnation did I just put in my mouth? It is definitely very strong.
Okay.
I'll say that. It's something that, felt nice and warm going all the way down, honestly. I wish I could say, oh my, this is hoppy flavor. This is hoppy forward. Honestly, this was just really rich, robust, and it was strong, man. I was not expecting that. So thank you to Crush for sending these, and for dropping on by, and we were able to hook up for a little bit and get these. So give me some from Texas, but man, you guys in Texas do it hardcore. I mean, if this is what you're drinking just to chill and to have outside, I don't want to know what you do for like your hardcore days. I really don't, man.
And it's a strong yes for pineapple on pizza. I probably lost some respect, but I'm my favorite is bacon, pineapple, green chili. It's great.
Wait, now what does the family feel about this though? That's the key.
Richie Rich says no for sure.
No, I will not ever put pineapple on my pizza.
You're missing out. I'm telling you.
It's not for me, but look, I don't care how anyone enjoys their pizza. I mean, for me, it's a open palate kind of thing. Enjoy what you want, do your thing. But I'm not sure if I would be saying like, let's share a pizza, Dad. Like if you as your kids like are coming to you, they'd be like, can you make my half a certain different way? Yeah. Is that how it goes?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm like the only one who eats it, so
there you go.
And I've lost respect, but hopefully not viewership. So. As long as we can maintain respect for the other two, and you can still watch me, then we're okay.
Well, now I have to know what.
Wait,
what you
we gotta get Doc's beer finale real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with a small dub or a small L also.
Okay.
Just the pairing isn't that great, and definitely didn't deliver on on what it said.
I'm going to go with mine, a strong dub, because everything it says on here, it delivers. It delivers everything it says here.
Okay.
And to be honest, if you just wanted one beer and to feel good afterwards, I understand why this would be your beer of choice. So
Fair enough.
I definitely get this as a W.
What were you gonna ask Doc about his pizza?
I was just asking everyone, like, what is your pizza
My
kind
guy.
of choice? And we got Avatar coming in. He goes with the pineapple, and he goes with the twist, the barbecue sauce and chicken. So
I like it. I would be down. I would share a pizza with you, bro.
now, can we do this next time, maybe for Richie?
Probably. I like a stout, so it wouldn't bother me.
Ooh, I don't know, Doc. I didn't see Doc.
I mean, I'll smash pizza. I'm not doing pine. I'm not putting fruit on my pizza.
Okay, there we go.
But a stout beer for next
stout,
next year?
yeah.
With pizza though?
Oh no, I mean I'll eat pizza too, but it's not essential.
Well, I will try. Whatever beer, we'll try one out.
Okay.
Got Balderrama here saying this is awesome football and beer talk. I mean, that's why we're here.
Our favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Our favorite for sure. Got one last segment, so let's party on over to the next spot.
Let's go on by.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Oh, we got Richie Rich. I don't know how to say it, so I'm going to say
Is it more of an or is it kind of
a? Maybe if he's Canadian, it could be a.
Yeah, you're right. He is
Canadian, Rich.
He is.
Oh, well, there you go. That would be it. Ham, homemade sausage, bacon, prosciutto. So lots of meats. It's a man's pie right there. Yeah.
And now let's make the transition now.
We're transitioning. We wanted to talk a little bit about heading into training camp and what some of the Broncos storylines would be. Doc kind of gave us the entry of if the Broncos were selected for Hard Knocks, what might some of the storylines be that they jump on? So since Doc gave us such a good entry, I'm going to throw it to him and give him the first shot at this. Except that he's muted, so he might be.
It was I got a little one in here that decided to make some noise.
I kind of wondered about that. My bad.
I have thunder making noise. Are you guys having thunder too right now? Or is it just me?
I do. Well, I'm in a basement, so I don't know.
Hey, I mean, with me right now, I can actually feel some of the thunder. So, I mean,
nice.
It's one of those. I kind of like these kind of storms like that, honestly, as long as it doesn't hail, because all the neighbors, like I said, around me, they're getting their checks, and I'm saying, why are you putting it in so early?
For sure. Well, I'll kick us off then.
Yes.
Since Doc is preoccupied, and that's all right. I want to talk about a few different battles, and I'm interested to see how some of these shake out. There are a few. I don't know that there's any premier battles that we'll be looking at, but I think we should just point out a few. I think one of them that no one's really talking about, and I don't know that it's extremely important, but is going to be the backup quarterback position. I think that's something that is going to be fun to watch, to see if anyone can separate themselves. I'm a fan of the guys that they've brought in as, project guys and potential upside guys. Obviously they didn't commit a lot to that position in the offseason. But, they've got Jarrett Stidham. They've got Jarrett Garantano. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hopefully I'm saying it right. And Ben DiNucci. Stidham's shown a little bit that he can play in this league, at least in a backup role. I think that he's probably the front runner. But you look at these other guys, Garantano, he had some run with the Cardinals and had a little bit of success on the limited snaps that he had. And then DiNucci is an XFL guy. And if I am going to pick one, I kind of like DiNucci. I'm not going to lie. I like DiNucci, and I like him because of his ability to get out of the pocket and create with his legs, especially in the short field. If you get down towards the end zone, his ability to kind of break that pocket and be physical and get downhill and pick up yardage, I like that from him. Stidham, I think, is probably the better passer overall, but I don't think the gap is that wide. And I think, on a team that's looking for people to make plays, I think you've got to take all of that into account. And the league's kind of moving that direction. You need a mobile quarterback, and I think that he could bring that. So he's kind of my front runner, maybe dark horse a little bit, but I think if you've watched these guys, their strengths. It'll just be a matter of who puts it together for camp and is most consistent. Any feels about those guys?
Yeah, for me, I think I would differ with you, and I like Stidham, honestly.
Okay,
I think that he was brought in for a reason. He fits kind of that mold that, I've seen kind of used with, Winston in the past. I don't know. I just feel like he has that kind of good feeling that if you need out of a backup, he can be a gunslinger and pass the ball around and really, make at least keep the again, have a higher percentage passing. That's just how I see it right now at that point. I think he is actually far and above the guy for number 2, honestly.
Yeah.
What about you, Doc?
It wouldn't be surprising for sure.
Yeah, I think Stidham will win. I think DiNucci is a much more fascinating follow. So if you were, if it were,
okay, I see. Yeah,
if it were Hard Knocks, I think we would be rooting for DiNucci. I think he's got a little swag in his game,
for sure.
Like he's got a little bit of that. So kind of depends on what you want.
I thought Stidham had some interesting businesses also, though, like some side businesses, and he was really actually pretty good with some business stuff. So I'd be interested to learn more about him in that sense, if there is, more to that.
Maybe that just means he's banking on those side businesses. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Like so like when Sean Payton told him, "Oh, by the way, our owner works for Walmart." He's thinking ahead.
Yeah. He doesn't want to be a greeter at Walmart. He wants to be a backup quarterback. So we'll see if he can work it out.
Yeah.
I do think DiNucci would probably be the follow on Hard Knocks, though.
Oh yeah.
Let's kick it to you, Doc, for your headline or your something to watch.
I hate to take the low hanging fruit, but Russ, I think that he is such a controversial guy for literally doing nothing. He's odd and all of that stuff. But it's not like he's out there doing like crazy stuff. He's just
doing things in front of a camera.
It's just odd, right? Just some of the things that you wouldn't need, but the change that he's already made to his body, I think that is extremely interesting to see how he adapts to this offense, how he plays, what his responses would be to underperforming last year and what mess that was. That had to be the toughest year of his career, bar none. College, professional, that had to be kind of the worst, especially with the fanfare and the expectations. And so my feeling would be, that would be a really interesting storyline, just to see how Russ looks in camp. From what I heard and from the offseason, he was separate. He separated himself from the backups, which was good, right? Because I think people thought, maybe Jared Stidham's going to cut like that. It doesn't sound like that was anywhere near the case at all. And so, what kind of Russ will the Broncos get? And I think the team will go as far as he goes. So the focus being on him, I think, would be really impactful. And then adding on that, what's his relationship like with his coach? Because you know how hard Sean Payton can ride players. It does sound like there's some genuine respect there from before their time together. Does that get maintained, especially if, Russ has some struggles in camp, all that kind of stuff that I think would be really, really interesting. How does Sean Payton handle Russ and his ego and all that stuff, right? Because you gotta call out your big dogs in front of teams sometimes to be able to set the tone and all those kind of things. So that would be that part I would expect to see, and I would be disappointed if that weren't one of the big storylines if Hard Knocks were in Denver.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Russ is, because of he is such a polarizing figure. It would be kind of a natural headline to follow. Do we like just personally the video that came out, his workout, the sliding back and forth? Is there some science to this that I don't understand?
Yeah, it's your lateral get off, right? It's plyometric stuff. It's similar to, if you were to jump on one leg and jump to the other, it's your explosion right to left. And then working on your balance. The ball throwing helps you with your core and your hand-eye coordination. So is it like football, like maybe a little bit? I mean, I think it's probably a good mixture within whatever the heck he was doing. It looks a little but a lot of sport specific workouts look weird. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you're just not going to see in in your local 24-hour fitness or what have you. So my thought is, if that's our biggest thing, if people are like, man, I can't believe Russ put out a workout video, like, it wasn't another Subway commercial, right? It wasn't him going on vacation. It wasn't
him promoting his brand. It wasn't, it wasn't any of that. It was just him working out.
I think you gotta let the guy be the guy a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like neutering. Like, geez, man, like, he has a brand, he has a clothing, like he has that stuff. If I were him, I would still be, I would be conscious about it, but I'm still trying to further my, who I am and what I'm trying to do as a businessman and all that kind of stuff. So people just, we got to tone down a little bit. Got to tone down on Russ. That said, he brought it on himself by embellishing or like love in the limelight and then not delivering. Whether how much you put on his plate or how much you put on Hackett's plate, etc. But it's interesting because it's a lightning rod, regardless, right? Him sliding back and forth got people up in arms.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. Sorry, John. That. No. We're in a place where no matter what he puts out, it's gonna have a take, and he's done this to himself for the most part, I will say, by all of the viral things that he's done over the last few years. But, I think this is definitely, small potatoes in the big picture.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes just guys are doing different things in their workouts because they get bored. So maybe he was just switching it up for a day or two. Maybe he does that, once every, couple weeks. I mean, it's just, you need to switch it up also just for your own sake, just to be able to get through those workouts. I feel like
some sanity.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you do the same workout all the time, I think some of us, again, want to switch it up, do a little bit different than, again, doing the same squat. You can do other things to improve your explosion and all those different things. But really want to get to Rich A here. And he kind of picked what I was going to say is who wins out in the log jam at our safety position. And honestly, that's something where I'm very interested in with camp. There's a lot of interest in, of course, Justin Simmons is going to be in camp. He's someone that's vocal, who people will want to listen to. Kareem Jackson is also the same way, where people will want to listen to him on Hard Knocks. Those are two players you're going to want to follow. When they say stuff, it's going to actually be meaningful and impactful for a lot of different people. And then there's so much kind of built up there with Skinner. And I feel like with just, again, there's going to be some cuts there. There's going to be some movement. So I think it's really going to be a fun position to watch in this supposed Broncos Hard Knocks. So let's just answer real quick before I actually switch to what would be mine, my actual choice of who would be what we would be watching. Who do you think wins out at the safety at safety? For me, I think it really is going to be Simmons, and I think Jackson is going to play a role. But I think it's going to be Stearns is going to be the guy that they want to get out there and see him be healthy and hopefully not have to use as much Jackson as much because of that.
Yeah, Doc, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's be Caden Stearns. I think barring any injury, I mean, I think we're operating under the best case scenario here. He's a good player. He 4 interceptions in like 18 career games or something like that. I mean, it's a pretty impressive stat line. I think his ability to be able to come down and play in the box, him and Kareem can be pretty interchangeable, and him and Justin can be pretty interchangeable. So I think it's Caden Stearns, barring something else. I don't think it's Kareem's spot to hold anymore. I think he came back with the understanding that he's got to etch out some playing time for himself, which I think will be really difficult because I think PJ Locke is another player who has done pretty well. Yep, if Skinner is healthy by training camp, he provides something that none of the other guys do. Right? I mean, it's he's a thumper, but has size. So Kareem is a guy that will bring his hard hat, but he's not necessarily winning a jump ball with Travis Kelce. So it's a player that can provide something different, and I think they really kind of need that mix and match there on the back end. So I do think that would be something really cool to watch. I would be really interested to see how Kareem handles that in the locker room too. He's ultra competitive, I have no doubt, but is he on the roster understanding that he's in a transition year? As a quasi coach, the DeAndre Jordan, if you will, of the Denver Broncos. So I'm excited. I think it'll be a really good pairing back there. And, one of the better groups in the secondary in the NFL. I expect Caden Stearns to be a dude that balls out.
Yeah. I think for me, I have multiple different options for like what I want and what I think will happen. I think Caden Stearns will get it, and I think he'll get the biggest opportunity to secure that. And it's probably what will happen. I love PJ Locke, the guy, and I love him, the athlete and the competitor. I don't know that he's got the skill set to ever kind of ascend to that number one guy at that position or number two guy. And I just love JL Skinner, So like in a perfect world, I would say Skinner. But he's got to be healthy, and there's just a lot of question marks there. Skinner's kind of the guy that I would want to see in there because I think he does, like you said, Kareem-esque things. But I think he can elevate that. I think he can elevate to a place that Kareem hasn't been probably for a little while now, as far as athleticism. Yeah. But I think Caden Stearns is the front runner. I think he has the best overall game. I think he probably does better than Skinner does. I think Skinner's probably better in some areas, but I think all around Caden's the guy, and I think he probably walks away with it. And it makes me wonder if Kareem will be on the roster by the end of training camp, to be honest. If health isn't an issue, then do you need a guy like Kareem in the long run? Obviously, we've seen the value of veterans on a team, like you said, like the Nuggets. So I don't think that it's completely, that they don't need him per se. But if you have a logjam at that position and you like the guys that are there and you like the upside of multiple guys there, then you've got to make a decision. Right. So I do wonder if Kareem will be there in the long run when training camp comes to an end.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And I agree with Locke, kind of being one of those guys that he's pretty good when he gets the opportunity to play. He doesn't seem to mess up much when he has that opportunity. So
Rich, yeah. we're not trading Simmons. All right.
maybe again,
I like your forward thinking. I can't get behind it though.
We'd have to see something real special this year from Stearns and Skinner or something going on where they get a lot of play time.
I would agree. And for the O-line, it'd have to be a stalwart left tackle. It's got to be someone that's upper tier. Interior linemen, I think, are much easier to find, and plus they have two pretty good ones right now. You wouldn't trade any top player for a center. I don't care how good they are. I think you can find a bunch. Again, talking about who's on the who's still in the free agency bin. So I don't think that that's something that I would do. But one thing I do think would be pretty dope, and I know that JT, it's probably your turn, but I think watching the rookie class, I'm really interested in just how they are and how they work. Maybe first round pick, probably actually.
He's done it in the past, Peyton.
That's true. That's a much better idea.
I like that, but I don't really want it.
Depends on where the one is, right? Like if it's top 10, would you do?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So
you talked me off it real quick. So.
Right. Yeah. Riley Moss, I think is the stash. I think is probably going to be good TV.
Shades of
Drew
Minshew.
Sanders. Yeah. Drew Sanders. Right. They call him Thor. Down in Arkansas because he looks the part. It would be really interested just to see the I don't know if you've heard this story, but in high school, they wouldn't let him do live reps in practice.
Really?
He would hurt people every practice. And so they had to take him out of live hitting drills and live teamwork because he would just demolish people. And so watching a guy like that, play, getting some snaps, especially when they do some joint practices and things like that, I think that would be a good time. And then, how does Marvin Mims actually get in? I think that would be something. So just how does the rookie group mesh when, to be honest, none of them are necessarily needed, right? None of them are to start, I assume. And so, how does Sean Payton kind of handle those? Because he's not scared to play rookies. And we all think that, those players are pretty good. So we'll kind of see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited about the rookie class. I'm interested. I think there are some fun personalities. I think there's some upside with these guys too. There's been a few little dings on Mims and Sanders so far, so I'll be interested to see if they're up to speed when training camp rolls around. That'll definitely, as a rookie, those snaps and that ability to play in those preseason games and get that run is important. I hate for them to start behind the 8 ball. It's a possibility, though. The NFL is just another animal. It's just a completely different animal. You've got to get used to the workload, and health is just a huge thing. It's just one of those things that you've seen so many opportunities derailed because you tweak a hammy or you get turf toe or you twist
DJ Hamler, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
people that have insane upside that are just, who knows where they end up landing and if they even end up staying in the league. So, health is going to be huge to that.
Yeah. Just want to thank Clayton here real quick. If you're able to, smash that like button and share, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Clayton.
Clayton, you're a real one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's get in this last one by Rich.
Yeah.
He's bringing the fire today. Where do you think Chris Allen fits in with the whole outside linebacker room, given where he was initially slated to be drafted, especially with the Browning injury? Sorry. Doc, you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, he was projected. Let's see, Lance Zierlein had him as a potential round 4 prospect. So with a kind of top flight athleticism score, his production didn't match that. So he's much more tools than production. I do think he is someone that could be your Shaq Barrett. And I think with the injuries to that room, I think he's going to get a pretty good opportunity to impress. That room is up in flux. Frank Clark was added. $5 million guaranteed isn't, especially for that position, isn't necessarily a ton. Randy Gregory is on notice. He has no guaranteed money after this season, and Baron Browning is all tools, and he's going to start getting that that label as a glass man. I mean, it's something all the time, which really stinks for him. But it's been his knock, I think, since Ohio State, if I can recall. So
yeah.
I think he has a really good shot. I think I wouldn't sleep on him, and I think I think he's probably a favorite of George Payton, and you take pride in that. So I bet he's selling that to the Broncos coaching staff. So I'm excited to see him to actually line up and get some run in the preseason because he looks like Tarzan. So we'll see if he plays like it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Do we feel, John? Do you feel like he will surpass what we got from Draymond Jones as someone that we've heard a lot of comparison with, or do you think that he is about the same, or do you think that he is less than?
I don't think he's anything like Draymond Jones, to be honest. I think he's definitely someone who's an edge kind of guy. I think I think all these players being kind of dinged up and not, again, being careful with, you don't want to have them playing as much. He's going to see so much opportunities in training camp once that gets going. Maybe even, again, first team, second team reps. I mean, those are reps that he has the chance to impress and earn himself a very high standing position on this team. Like you said, can he be that Shaq Barrett guy who's that number 2 guy you bring in off the bench when the other guys need a moment to breathe? can you see him as your guy you're developing past Gregory after these guys? So I think he has all the opportunity to fit in with this outside linebacker crew. And I think he can actually, again, slate himself well to get playing time and actually see the field this season. So for me, I have very high expectations for him.
I think it'll be interesting how him and Thomas Incoom, the undrafted rookie free agent out of Central Michigan, who is a guy that produced. So, he has the opposite spectrum, not necessarily someone with tremendous physical attributes, like good, but not, not to the level of Alabama product, Chris Allen. So I think that would be really interesting. One, just to see who they favor, right? So this coaching staff liked Incoom, right? That's their guy. They weren't here for the last guy.
Yeah.
And Chris Allen. And so it's a room that I think I wouldn't be shocked if guys ascend that we wouldn't have expected, Allen, et cetera. I also wouldn't be shocked if it goes like chalk, right? Where the top five as it looks now, or the top five that they carry, it definitely will be one where guys can earn it and have a real opportunity. And you hope that Randy Gregory looks like he does when he's on the field and maintains that. Because I just think that's the best for the Broncos, but sure. But depth behind it, Cooper looked really good so far. We'll see when the pads come on. So it's a room that I think, and I would probably be, I wouldn't be alone in this. That's probably the area on this team now that is the biggest concern. It's like that in the running back room, depending on the health of Javonte. It's really, can they get pressure without bringing everyone? And there's guys with tools there, or there's, Baron Browning is all the talent guy, but he hasn't produced it. Randy Gregory, all the talent. We can go through all of that.
Yeah,
stuff. It's a room that they got to get something from, and we'll see how it shakes out. So I'm excited to see that group. I think that would be a really good storyline. That's for sure. I think 100%. Maybe just throw in one last one as we're looking at kind of the unrestricted or undrafted free agents. I really, the more I've looked at it, Jaleel McLaughlin, the speedster out of Youngstown. I think him and I forgot about Nick Benito.
I have to be honest. I really do want to see where he is standing, and I did forget about him, and that's an issue, isn't it? I mean, isn't that an issue?
He's got to earn. He's got to earn that back, right?
And what is that role for him moving forward? I honestly don't know. I don't. To me, when you put him on the field, you're screaming it's going to be a pass play. When I saw him trying to, seal an edge or do anything kind of that wise, it was not good in the run game. It felt like he was overpowered. It just did not feel right. So I agree that Nick Bonito is someone we have to see more out of. And I kind of also want to see his personality, to be honest. Just because, again, I've seen what he's kind of been on Twitter, and it's been he's been a little shaky in terms of, just what he's done.
Randomly block people.
Yeah, it just seems a little bit random. So I just kind of want to know who he is, how he is as a person, and
I want to know if he's got that dog in him, bro. Like, this
100%.
is your career.
Can I be honest? The player I also want to see,
pass coach, right? Yeah. Like they brought in the guy that helped him get drafted.
Yep.
Now he has the opportunity. Like they're trying to replace you. Drew Sanders may be a dude that takes your spot. They brought Frank Clark in because they don't think you're good enough. You're just not. Yeah, I mean, you haven't shown it. So, are you going to be able to be a guy that pushes the envelope?
Yeah. Before we hit yours, John, Jaleel McLaughlin, finish your thought.
I just, I'm excited. Tyler Batty, those kind of guys, the under the radar, but really, Darren Sproles-ish, right? I think. Yeah. Speed, the ability to catch the ball outside, just what they offer that's different than, the prototypical 6 foot 230 running back that Sean Payton likes to hammer the ball inside. I'm really excited to see them in pads, right? Like, one, can those guys run inside? And two, Sean Payton have some creativity, and is that visible? Do you get to see it, and maybe helping them stick on the roster? So there's a lot to shake out in that room too. And I'm kind of interested because Dalvin's probably not coming. I am frustrated, but I'm recognizing that we are where we are. And regardless, they need a solid number 3 to, just in case someone's going to get hurt, 17-game season. But, is it someone that's off the radar a little bit that can come in and do some different things? So I'm really excited about those two specifically, just because I think they're different. They're different physically, skill set wise as some of the other guys.
Yeah. We're a little over, John, but we got one more. Come on, give me your last guy that you wanted to see.
I want to see more about Greg Dulcich in a few ways. Obviously, him as a player, but I think there needs to be a good 7 minutes dedicated to his shampoo routine, what's going on with his hair. Let's get to know him as a person, and I think it all starts with the head. I mean, that's just me personally. I
wouldn't know.
Come on. I mean,
but I am a fan of the short shorts.
Oh yeah,
you rock the 3, 4, 5 inch inseam. When you got leggies, you want to show them off a little bit. But Greg Dulcich will be that dude potentially, or his flaws will be too much for them to overcome. I'm also upset that Patrick got cut. I think that's a huge mistake. I think that's going to keep us from getting 10 wins probably. So whatever, Sean, whatever.
That's a big reaction.
Okay, all right. He probably wasn't going to see the field. Daddy made it there during camp. Florida State just coming in, but
yeah. I mean, the only other one I would throw in is obviously Sean Payton. He's just going to be if people were following this team, it's a personality. He's hard nosed. He's old school as far as coaches go nowadays. He would just be an immediate draw, and people would be interested to see what he has to say. I'm interested to see what he has to say because we never hear anything really. And it's nice in a way, but it's also like we're starving for Broncos news right now. Like, give me something. So I would have to say that. But we have reached the end of our time, boys. Thank you so much for your time. Everyone, thank you for joining us in the chat. We appreciate you. We appreciate the comments and the talking points, and we try and hit as many as we can. Obviously we can't hit everyone, but thank you so much for your contributions. The show's for you guys as much as it is for us, and we appreciate you. But be kind to one another, be safe out there, and go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day.